Shaw has climbed to the top of the podium to receive the World's Strongest Man trophy. But the American is definitely not satisfied with 2 titles. Rather, his goal is to become the greatest champion in the history of the sport. Shaw's quest for another championship and to add to his growing legend begins next. The calendar at the Commerce Hotel and Resort in Los Angeles, California is full of big-time sporting events like the Commerce World's Strongest Man. The first event in the qualifying round for Group 5 is one that's going to take strength, speed, and endurance, the loading race.
Well, the first issue for the strongmen just might be getting a handle on the 275-pound anvils because they're so awkward and slippery. And then once they have their grip, they'll need to be carried to the platform 12 meters away.
Heat 1, Gerhard Von Stadten. He owns a wildlife sanctuary at home in South Africa. The 29-year-old is making his second appearance at the World's Strongest Man. Scott Cumming is representing Canada for the second straight time. The correctional officer from Regina, Saskatchewan checks in at 6 foot, 297. And it's the 5th time here for the 26-year-old Martin Bildauer of Austria, 6'3", 317. And he's had some close calls, but is still searching for his first appearance in the final.
Von Stadten here with the cleanest start out of all 3 competitors, with Hildauer in a close second.
Scott Cumming got off to a really bad start. So it looks to be a 2-man race here between Von Stadten in the far lane, Bildauer in the near one.
What I like about Von Stadten is how smooth his transitions are. He doesn't take a lot of time to get those anvils picked up and moving. And here comes Scott Cumming trying to make a run. He gets to the table the same time that Von Stadten did.
I absolutely stand corrected. Cumming might just win this heat.
And
but he drops.
big dropped.
And the winner of the heat is Gerhard Von Staden. Second will go to Hildauer, and Cumming drops it again.
Man, I'm emotionally worn out from Scott Cumming. He was last and first and then last in a race that's under 60 seconds. Hands off!
Well, Bildauer will settle for second place in this first heat. The winner is Gerhard Von Staden, 41.89, so that's the number that he's put out there for the second heat to go after.
Yeah, and Scott Cumming was in the lead and in control, but his body looked like it just shut down. He had too much forward body lean. Then Von Staden and Bildauer say, "Thank you very much for opening the door."
Von Staden takes control. Second heat, 33-year-old Mikhail Shivliyakov. Served 2 years in the Russian Marines and has been a pro strongman for less than 2 years. Graham Hicks from England is making his 3rd World's Strongest Man appearance at 28 years of age. Graham's a design engineer working on fighter jets. And Brian Shaw from Colorado, standing an almost impossible 6'8", 420. He's the defending champ. The big man is hunting for title number 3.
Take your position! Well, Brent, just looking at these guys, you'd naturally expect Brian Shaw to do well, being 6'8", 420. He makes that 275-pound anvil look light. But don't count out Graham Hicks there, who's very smooth in his transition.
Hicks is in the center lane. Near lane is Brian Shaw. You mentioned basketball career at Black Hills State in his college days.
Graham Hicks is 5'10", 291 pounds. A little bit of a David and Goliath going on here in lanes 2 and 3.
Final anvil. Good race. Hicks and Shaw both struggling to get the grip. And now it's Shivliyakov out of nowhere. But he drops the anvil at the finish, and Shaw takes advantage to win. And Hicks comes in second, and still struggling, Shivliyakov finally. What a turn of events in the loading race in both heats. Shaw wins it 38.05. Brian Shaw earns the victory in a time of 38.05 seconds. Graham Hicks was second. Gerhard Von Staden third. Martin Bildauer, who most expect to challenge for a spot in the final, was just 4th. The subject of today's Commerce Flashback is Phil Pfister's magical run in 2006. It had been 24 years since an American last reigned as the world's strongest man, but 5 consecutive event victories, culminating with an emphatic performance in the Atlas Stones, gave Pfister the title. The Commerce World's Strongest Man moved on to one of the most iconic Hollywood settings for Group 5's next event. A very noisy neighbor moved into this street on a studio's New York City backlot in the form of Fingal's Fingers. Fingal's Fingers favors tall and heavy performers, and unfortunately Graham Hicks is neither. Hicks finished with 3 fingers in 25.94. Scott Cumming also lacks the body mass that some other competitors possess. He checked out with 4 fingers in 41.06. Mikhail Shivliyakov didn't have much experience with the fingers, and it showed. His score was 4 fingers in 34.56 seconds. Gerhard Von Stadten also completed the 605-pound 4th finger in 34.34 seconds before being derailed by the 705-pounder. Brent Gildower was left frustrated as he too was stopped by the 5th finger. His score was 4 in 26.80. Brian Shaw got the victory by sailing through the first 4 fingers in 22.10. The big fella didn't need number 5. 5 athletes completed 4 fingers, but Brian Shaw's time of 22.10 was the fastest. In second, it was Brent Gildower. Gerhard Von Stadten was third. Graham Hicks made it through just 3 fingers and finished 6th. Shaw leads the overall standings with a maximum 12 points. Von Staden and Bildauer are 4 points back and share second. Hicks is in 4th with 6 points. We move on to the 3rd of 6 events to challenge the strongmen in qualifying Group 5. This is the deadlift.
Brent, the deadlift's one of those events that really separates the men from the boys. The first lift starts at 620, but it works its way all the way up to an incredible 815 pounds. Technique is critical.
Scott Cumming represents the Great White North here in sunny Southern California. The Canadian is in 6th place after 2 events. Gerhard Von Staden of South Africa has already gone and posted 4 reps in 22.98 seconds.
Are you ready?
This apparatus starts at 620 pounds and goes up from there.
Notice Scott Cumming with a tight base, barefoot. A lot of the strong men feel that they get better connection to the ground and it helps them lift. And Scott's showing great strength. Well, the way that basket's falling, though, Brent, you have to wonder whether he's starting to feel it.
Here he is at 750 pounds. Really fighting it. And he got it out of 780. And rep number 6.
30 seconds.
And he's got 30 seconds.
A lot of these lifts, you have to be able to get into a rhythm, be able to catch his breath, but it's really hard to get going again once you stop.
Scott Cumming, a good effort to take the lead. 5 reps in 25.68 seconds. The strain that Cumming was surely feeling on his back, hips, and legs could clearly be seen on the Canadian's face. Well, Brian hasn't had to turn it loose yet here as he attempts to win title number 3, but he still leads his qualification group and has won both events so far. The mark he's shooting for here is 5 reps in 25.68 seconds.
Brent, one of the things you notice about Brian Shaw is his wide base and wide grip, along with those old school Chuck and Taylors.
He's an old school guy, no doubt about that.
Down, good. Lift.
Brian looking very smooth here. As these kegs continue to fill that basket up, he's just looked strong through his lower body and his hips.
750 pounds, not a problem. Now he's on to 780.
Lift. Down.
Easy.
Good. One more, Brian.
And he goes into the lead.
One more, Brian.
Brian Shaw, 6 repetitions in 25.79 seconds. And he's your current leader.
What a display by Brian. I don't think there's any question that he could have gotten that 7th rep if he had attempted it, but he's just content putting up 6 really fast reps and just high-fiving the cats that could beat him.
Well, Graham Hicks has an opportunity. He'll get the first chance to take down the defending champ. Hicks is in 4th place after 2 events. A man from England.
Ready.
Look at the base and grip of Graham Hicks, quite a bit tighter than we just saw with Shaw.
Lift. Down. Good. Lift. Down.
Graham Hicks, very good leg strength and power, looks extremely tight here. But you see him trying to lunge his back forward. He's using his lower body maybe to compensate for lack of back strength.
750 pounds.
Down.
He got it.
Finished.
And he's done. Graham Hicks, 5 reps in 27.97 seconds, and that will put Hicks into 3rd place for the moment. This is an example where Hicks' size can be an advantage. Being lower to the ground, the bar has less distance to travel for him to complete a rep.
Representing Russia,
Mikhail Shivliyakov of Russia. He's in 5th place after 2 events, and it seems that the world's strongest man, rookie, is a little fired up for the deadlift.
I'd say, and for good reason, he's been holding his own for the first year.
Down. Lift.
Rep number 2, 650. Now he's on to the 685 weight.
First 3 reps making him look very easy here, Brent.
Lift.
Re-gripping, taking a break.
Down.
Unusual for what we've seen so far. Now he goes to his knees.
Yeah, we saw Scott Cumming in his group earlier try and use that drop to the knee technique. Let's see if it works better for Shivliyakov, and it does.
Good.
He's got 5 reps now as he goes to his knees. If he gets 7 reps here, he goes into the lead.
There's that tenacity. But in the end, Brent, it was the power and endurance that gave way for the rookie.
Shivliyakov goes into 4th place, getting 5 reps in 30.13 seconds.
Yeah, let's take a look at this again because Shivliyakov had a rather unique technique resting between reps. It looked like it might pay off, but 5 reps is all the Russian could manage.
Now it's Martin Bildauer's turn, the last man up in the deadlift. The Austrian is one of the world's best in this event. He could use some points, so Aaron, I'm guessing he's going to be targeting the 7 reps here.
No question, and it's definitely well within Martin to get the 7th rep, which is 815 pounds.
Down.
You may as well forget about trying to go faster than Shaw to get 6. Just take your time and get the 7 and win the event.
Well, he wants to get the 7 for sure, Brent, and as easy as it's looked so far, he's going to get there.
Down.
If he gets 7 reps, it'll be more than 5,000 pounds in total.
He's still looking good with that tight base. Back strength starting to give a little bit out. He's having to rock it up and walk it up his thighs. Can he get this one, Brent?
This is for the event win. 7th rep, 815 pounds. Martin Bildauer.
Look at him, Brent. He wants another one.
ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the deadlift for Group 5 with all
Bildauer wins the deadlift. 7 reps. 39.65 as he knocks off Brian Shaw in this event. After 2 wins, Shaw has to settle for 2nd place because of Bildauer's performance. It seemed like the Austrian only stopped at 7 reps because we ran out of barrels. At the halfway point, Shaw leads with 17 points. Bildauer possesses the 2nd spot. Then it's Von Staden and Hicks tied for 3rd. Remember, only the top 2 will automatically qualify for the final. Brian Shaw has once again shown that he possesses the complete strongman package. The combination of strength and athletic ability that made him a 2-time champion has put him in complete control of Group 5's qualifying round. But the giant American's work is not done, with 5 other athletes battling for just 2 spots in the final. The world's strongest man continues next. Just miles away from downtown Los Angeles is the Commerce Hotel and Resort, the host venue for the Commerce World's Strongest Man. The 4th of 6 events for qualifying Group 5 is the car wash, and Aaron, this one's a crowd favorite.
And it's certainly one of mine as well because the athletes will strap the half-ton car to their shoulders, and then it's just a matter of who can cover the 25 meters in the fastest time. With the legs and lower back under duress, maintaining the car in a balanced position is key.
Mikhail Shivliyakov. In addition to serving the Russian Marines, he's the former powerlifting champion of Siberia. Scott Cumming has already taken the car out of the garage, but he fell just short of the finish line, stopping at 24.8 meters.
Well, Brent, to win this event, you not only have to have a strong lower body in your glutes and your hams and your quads and your calves, but you also have to have strong hip stability. And so far early on, Shivliyakov looks pretty good, but you start to see that car sway side to side. It's starting to get heavy for him already.
So difficult to keep that car balanced and not touch with, especially the back tires.
Yeah, this is a little bit different than like a static event like the squat lift, because you're on one leg as you're taking those steps, so that added element makes it really hard. Now my man's swerving all over the road.
Got some problems here as he tries to circle the wagons. First up here in the car walk, Mikhail Shivliyakov.
Well, he's just a rookie, so it's very hard for these young competitors to know what to expect. They're all strong enough to lift this 1,000 pounds, but it's a whole different deal when you're asked to walk with it.
Oh, so close to the finish for Shivliyakov, and there he gets it. 53.94. So Shivliyakov will set the mark to beat with that time.
Yeah, certainly a little disappointed, but he's only a rookie. You got to give him credit. I love the way that he fought all the way through and refused to lose, Brent. But the way that that car was weaving around the road, man, I wouldn't want to have been in traffic with him.
There's enough traffic issues in this part of the country.
That's right.
Graham Hicks is currently tied for third place. His full-time job at home in England is as an engineer on fighter jets, so I assume he knows the motor might make moving this car easier, but it's not an option.
No, it's not, and neither is him being able to change his height. Graham Hicks is only 5'9", so inherently, due to his physiology, this car, starting out, is a little bit closer to the ground. It's got that penguin technique going right there with those short, choppy steps, but it's pretty effective.
53.94 set by Shivliyakov is the time to beat, and Hicks is well on pace.
Yeah, you notice the car's a little bit more stable than it was for Shivliyakov. I think Graham Hicks is going to beat that time by considerable margin.
By 18 seconds. 35.44 for Graham Hicks, and he's the new leader here in the car walk. We said he was looking more stable than Shivliyakov, and Hicks' time was a reflection of that. A very solid effort for Hicks. Gerhard Von Stadten of South Africa enters the car walk, tied for third place overall, and it's his turn to take the car out for a spin on this 25-meter course.
Well, Brent Von Staden is 364 pounds, so mass and leg strength shouldn't be an issue for him. But again, we talked about those hip stabilizers, and that's what this event is known for and makes it so difficult, is because not only do you have to lift that weight, but when you carry it, it gets tough, and Von Staden is swerving all over the road himself here early.
A lot of bobbles with this 1,000-pound car for Von Staden.
Puts a lot of strain on the hamstring and the quads. Makes it very, very difficult for these strongmen to keep moving. And there may be an issue here with Von Staden.
He's out. He steps out of the car, and he's hobbled. You heard him say hamstring. He gets credited for 11.5 meters, puts him in fourth.
When you don't have the hip stability that you need to carry a 1,000-pound car, you have to be able to recruit strength from your other muscle groups, and clearly Von Staden relied too much on his hamstrings there.
Well, Martin Bildauer in good shape to reach his first final. He's in second place after 3 events, and he always has a wild card as a fallback if he can pick up more than the 25.5 points of Group 2's Dave Ostland.
Been really impressed throughout the entire competition of just how much of a fighter Bildauer is. See a little of a false start and bobble there early. He's not starting out of the gate very good. See if he can get some momentum and shift things up here.
The time to beat here in the car walk is 35.44.
Bildauer seemingly finding his groove, Brent. It's almost like he's falling forward and holding this card up as he's doing it. He's got a nice little rhythm here. He's going to get a great time.
Blowing the former leading time out of the water. The new leader, Martin Bildauer, 26.10. The Austrian shatters the previous best time.
Look at Martin doing everything he possibly could to keep that car from bouncing off the ground in the last few meters, knowing that it would just destroy his momentum. Well, it worked, and he's the new leader.
Well, this is the man who leads the overall standings, the two-time champion from Fort Lupton, Colorado, Brian Shaw. And Aaron, it's probably an advantage to weigh 420 pounds when you're karting a half-ton car.
Yeah, because Brian almost weighs half as much as that car does. And look how much his head and shoulders sticks above out of that car compared to Graham Hicks, who's only 5'9". The 6'8" mountain is getting things done right here, Brent.
Bildauer put down a 26.10, and Shaw is going to beat that easily. 20.35. Brian Shaw wins the car wash. And he does it in impressive fashion. The American and the two-time champ, Brian Shaw. I think Brian Shaw could have made a pit stop and still won the car walk. His time of 20.35 easily gets the job done. Martin Bildauer finished second. Graham Hicks picked up third place. After 4 events, Shaw has 23 points and extends his lead to 4 points over his closest challenger, Bildauer. Hicks is in third. Shivliyakov, Von Staden, and Cumming are drifting out of contention. Universal Studios Hollywood is the site for the 5th of 6 events for Group 5, the overhead lift. Martin Bildauer came into the overhead lift with some momentum, but that was derailed by the 330-pound log. The Austrian had just 2 reps. South Africa's Gerhard Von Stadten fought the mammoth weight on his way to a total of 4 reps. Canadian Scott Cumming also was able to get credit for a total of 4 good repetitions. Brian Shaw was on cruise control. The giant American made 5 reps look easy. England's Graham Hicks stayed in contention for a place in the final with his effort. Hicks finished with 6 reps. Only one man completed 7 lifts, and that was the Russian Mikhail Shivliyakov. So 7 reps gets the victory in the overhead lift for Mikhail Shivliyakov. It was a big result for Graham Hicks, who grabbed second place with those 6 reps. Brian Shaw was third. Martin Bildauer had just 2 reps and finished 6th.
Yeah, there's a happy Russian who gets an event victory as a rookie, and it's an appropriate celebration for Shivliyakov, the former military man.
With 27 points, Shaw's clinched a trip to the final and will defend his title. Bildauer will take a 2-point lead over Hicks into the final event. Shivliyakov is still alive, but barely. In addition to Shaw, another strongman now knows he'll be in the final. Dave Ostland grabs the second wildcard spot, since no matter who finishes third in this group, can't overtake his 25.5 points. We remain at Universal Studios Hollywood for the final event for Group 5, the Atlas Stones.
And Brent, this is about as good of a test of overall body strength and agility as you can find, because getting the 5 stones of their platforms will take the legs, arms, and back. Getting a good time will take a bunch of speed as well.
Well, American Brian Shaw, the defending champion, had already qualified, so he chose to sit out to stay fresh for the final. Meantime, Russia's Mikhail Shivliyakov had a slight chance to make it to the final, but it was not to be. He finished with 4 stones in 48.68 seconds. Scott Cumming of Canada wrapped up his time in California with 4 stones in 44.92. And Gerhard Von Stadten is the current leader with just 2 athletes still to come. The South African had 4 stones in 29.57. Now the 2 guys are battling for 1 spot in the final. Martin Bildauer of Austria controls his own destiny as the man in second place. He has a 2-point advantage over the 3rd place, Graham Hicks from England. Hicks will have to overcome a 2-point deficit.
I'd look for Martin Bildauer to close the deal here. He's been coming on strong down the stretch. Yeah, great job with that first 285-pound stone. And how about Graham Hicks getting that 285-pounder up there? Look how much taller that platform is as he tries to get the 310-pounder up there with no problem.
Here's Bildauer onto the 3rd stone, the 330-pounder. A lot of drama in this final event for the group.
Great upper back strength by Graham Hicks and Martin Bildauer throwing those stones around.
Graham Hicks has the fourth one up. Hildauer can get to the final, and he does, finishing with a 410-pounder. Hicks still working that fifth. Can't get there. Bildauer able to win this event and advance to the final by beating Hicks here in the Atlas Stones. Hicks finishes second in this event and fails to qualify, while Bildauer qualifies for the final 5 stones in 33.98 and wins the Atlas Stones. Martin Bildauer gets his second event victory with 5 stones in 33.98. Graham Hicks finished second. Brian Shaw didn't compete, but he didn't have to. Shaw won the group with 27 points. Martin Bildauer was just a point back. Shaw and Bildauer will complete the 12-man field for the final for the biggest event in strength athletics. So what was once 30 strongmen is now down to just the 12 very best on the planet. And for those elite athletes, the World's Strongest Man final awaits. For my partner, Aaron Taylor, I'm Brent Stover. So long from California.